Graham Potter has pretty much taken over the headlines all week. Will he stay? Will he go? In or out? There's been emergency boardroom meetings with Bowley and the consortium. They've been trying to line up replacements, apparently. Graham Potter has given some of the players 2 days off after the loss to Southampton at home. There's a lot of chopping and changing at Chelsea at the moment. And as a Chelsea fan, it's very disruptive. I feel that all other fans will be quietly enjoying this moment as Chelsea are in disarray and absolutely in turmoil with what to do with our manager, how we're going to start playing better, what is going to happen at the weekend against Tottenham. This is the game that is a must-win for Graham Potter. I mean, his job is very much on the line, and if he doesn't somehow pull off a win against Tottenham, or at least a draw, I think a draw is something we could potentially settle for, given our form. I think Graham Potter won't see the rest of the season. It is imperative we do not lose at Tottenham Hotspur on Sunday. It is essential. This is a game where Graham Potter can show that passion, that bit, some fieriness that we have not seen so far. I get it. It's not in his DNA, perhaps. It's not something that comes natural to him. But neither is winning at the moment. So it is essential that he either shows, some fire, some passion, some hunger. This game against Tottenham is monumental. Like, this is a fixture. This is our North London rivals. We have a hatred towards each other that has been embraced by new managers, new players. This is just the way it goes. And it's essential that Graham Potter feels this occasion and jumps into it, because if he doesn't, and he shows no passion, he shows no fire, Antonio Conte, is going to be fired up. That guy doesn't need to be asked twice to show his passion. He puts it on for display for everyone to see, even against Chelsea, a team which he enjoyed so much success, and I think apparently at least at one point was close to his heart. Even then, Antonio Conte, since being Tottenham manager, has embraced it and has almost rubbed our nose in it. You know, being an ex-Chelsea manager, he shows no sentimentality. He has no problem embracing this fixture and everything that encompasses it. And Graham Potter needs to do the same. Just think about the first fixture of the season between Chelsea and Tottenham at the Bridge, the Battle of the Bridge, 2-2. Tottenham snatch it late on. Harry Kane header, last minute. Some argy-bargy in the box. Cucurella's hair's pulled. Thomas Tuchel and Conte are getting into spats on the touchline. The full-time whistle goes. Handshakes, holding on to handshakes. Eye contact, all kinds of drama happened in that game, and that is what lit that season up for us. Like, that was the game. That was probably the most entertaining game of the season. At that point, it was the second game, but my word, it was a spectacle, especially for the neutral. For a Chelsea fan, it was very, very difficult, hard pill to swallow that we blundered that game and we managed to give Tottenham a point. But at least Thomas Tuchel has showed fight every time that we've played Tottenham, and this is what Graham Potter needs to do, and he needs to pick a team that is going to show that and demonstrate that. He needs to be coaching his players and telling them that this is a game, this is one of the biggest games of the season now. We've got Dortmund after Leeds next weekend, and it just doesn't come bigger than Tottenham. It does not come bigger at beating Tottenham, and we've had such a great record against Tottenham as of late. We haven't lost in their new ground. I think we've beat them every time since they've moved to their new stadium, and we need to hope that, fortune is with us again, because it won't be form that's going into this game. Chelsea's form is abysmal. I know Tottenham's form is not great. I know they seem to be a team that haven't quite got it together, a very unbalanced squad. Conte is doing classic Conte things. He's not happy with his personnel. He's not happy with some of the performances. Heung-min Son's come under a lot of fire. Harry Kane somehow seems to keep digging them out of trouble. Tottenham have got threats. Like, let's not be fooled. Tottenham have got threats, and they have enough ability to beat Chelsea at home. But we can only hope that on Sunday we somehow turn it on, because this is our rivals. And that's what Chelsea fans are going to be wanting. We want to throw form out the window. This is a game. We need to turn it on just because of the occasion. The occasion needs to be played. This needs to be coached into some of these new players. Enzo Fernandez, João Felix, they need to know what this game means. If they don't already, they need to know. They've had a few days off of training, which was a very odd call. Normally, after a home defeat to the bottom of the table, you would imagine it would be double sessions. It would be intense training sessions to try and rectify and sort of discipline what's been happening. But that doesn't seem to be the case. There's been an article leaked in The Athletic that's sort of spilling the tea on some of the happenings at Chelsea at the moment. And it seems a bit too calm for my liking. It doesn't really seem like there's any urgency to win, any urgency to turn around this bad form. And I understand that this is a long-term project, and Graham Potter was appointed to do that and to bring in his ideas and his philosophy over the long term. But I tell you what, lose at Tottenham and then go on to lose at Leeds, I can't see Graham Potter still having a job. I think he will come under enormous pressure. He really, really needs this. It's do or die for Graham at the moment. And I think a lot of Chelsea fans were surprised he's made it to the end of the weekend. I think losing at home to Southampton is enough to get most managers sacked in the league. But given the fact that Chelsea have been sacking managers left, right and centre over the few years, Todd Boehly has assured that's not going to be the case moving forward. He has given that impression that this is not the case now. We need to, like it or lump it with Graham Potter at the moment, and we have to get used to that fact. But lose to Spurs, I'm not sure. I'm not sure he'll be able to guarantee his position until the end of the season. The problem is there's not enough good managers out there, and there's no obvious replacements, and I think that is where we have gotten ourselves in such a pickle. And I'm sure Toddy boy, he knows it. But it's imperative we get this win. Like, all we can do is beat who's in front of us, look at the next game. It's Tottenham, and it is essential we get this win. Now, I've done a predicted 11 of what I think Graham Potter should go with, considering the occasion, considering the bad form we've had recently, considering the pressure, considering all of the new signings that we've lumped into this squad and have been struggling to find cohesion and struggling to create any goals. For me, this is the 11 I feel we need to play. So, starting off, I'm going with Kepa in goal. Pretty much a shoo-in at the moment. Mendy is injured. Kepa's actually been one of the shining lights so far after all of the poor performances in Chelsea. I think Kepa's actually been pretty sturdy, and I've been impressed with his turnaround. But enough on that. Kepa in goal. Reece James, of course, he's been rested against Southampton. He's our best player. He's the first player on the team sheet. He's my favourite player at the moment. This guy is going to bring the energy. He is going to whip some of these players into shape. This responsibility that's been talking about, this lack of discipline in the dressing room that was leaked in that article from The Athletic that apparently Antonio Rudiger brought in. The fact that he would never have let standards dip so low at Chelsea. It's now up for Reece James to be that man in the dressing room. I'm sure he is, but he's going to have to even be a louder voice. Now this information's come out, like, Reece James is definitely going to have to be the disciplinarian and going to be the man to show and lead by example of what this fixture means. So Reece James is a massive, massive player for us this weekend. Ben Chilwell needs to be in that starting lineup. Marco Correa has no place in that starting 11. He has been one of the worst signings I've ever seen come to Chelsea. I've got so many minutes of my life talking about Marco Correa and how poor he has been and how underwhelming his performance has been. And the fact that he was pretty much at fault for the game before, it wasn't his fault. His hair got pulled, but the way he reacted, he wasn't robust enough in that position, and that is where we conceded that last-minute goal at home to Tottenham in the first fixture between the two. Now, Ben Chilwell needs to start. Thiago Silva has been rested, didn't start against Southampton. I understand. He is a man of age. He is a quality. He is our best player. If not Reece James, it's Thiago Silva. We need him for this game. I have no doubt he's going to start, and that is the kind of prowess, that is the defensive stability we need for this game. So without doubt, Thiago Silva starts. Benoit Badiashile has been an absolute revelation since he's come in. He looked a bit shaky against Southampton. He wasn't playing with Thiago Silva. He was with Koulibaly, who wasn't awful, but the Badiashile-Thiago Silva combination is the winner, especially for this game. This is our back four. This is the best back four we have. And I think at least one positive is that we have not been conceding many goals with this back four ever since Badiashile's come in. When we've got James and Chilwell, this to me makes sense, and this is probably our back four, and I would imagine this is probably going to be our back four for a long time now. I don't see anyone coming in and disrupting this. Chalobah's been unlucky, but I don't see him breaking into this. Perhaps there'll be some rotation here and there, but this is our strongest back four at the moment. Wes Fofana is also going to have to find his way in here. He's been injured for a long time, but for me, he doesn't start. He played well against Southampton when he came on, but I can't see him displacing Badiashile at this point. We need that presence. We need that physicality that he brings in. Now, the midfield, this is a hell of a tricky one because we have now got all of our players in this position seeming to have come back. We've got N'Golo Kante, who I'm sure is going to be featuring for Chelsea very soon. I'm sure this game is going to come too soon for him, but N'Golo Kante is going to be the man that we're going to welcome back with open arms. I can't wait to see him back, but he's not going to feature in this fixture. It's going to come too soon. Maybe he'll come up off the bench, maybe he won't. But for me, Potter's going to play the two defensive midfielders, two pivots, and I have chosen Mateo Kovacic in this position and Ruben Loftus-Cheek. And the reason I've chose that is because I want to see Enzo Fernandez in a more attacking role for this game. I want to see him slightly in front of those two. I want to see him in that almost where Mason Mount would play, in his favourite position, in the number 8. That's where I want to see Enzo Fernandez. I think the best we're going to get out of Enzo is attacking, is going forward. Of course, he can tackle, he can intercept, he is intense, he presses, he's a fantastic defensive player also, but his best abilities is attacking, creating chances, finding those passes, and I think it's too vulnerable to play him with a Kovacic, in that position, and I want to see Kovacic play. Enzo could potentially be taking Kovacic's place, but Kovacic is such a class player. He's so good with the ball. His possession is unreal. And there's been a lot of speculation with his contract, but I don't understand it. The man, he does everything he can when he plays, and he's fantastic. And I think that it is imperative Kovacic gets this game. He needs the nod. He needs to be shown that he is appreciated, in my opinion, and his performances do not go unnoticed. I think Kovacic in that position with a big man Loftus-Cheek next to him, I think that's a perfect central midfield pairing for this game until N'Golo Kante comes back, and this is where Enzo needs to be alleviated from some of those defensive responsibilities and pushed forward. So I want to see Enzo in that sort of AM role, just a bit further up the pitch as a midfielder. Then I'm looking at the front three. Now, this one is a tricky one. João Felix, for me, is always going to play. We've paid an enormous amount of money for him, as we have Enzo. It's pretty much these two players are going to feature every game, I think. There's not going to be a way that João Felix or Enzo Fernandez are not going to play every minute they can from now until the rest of the season. The price, the money that's been spent on them, it's just the situation we find ourselves in. And that is, I do believe, a problem that we need to rectify, because there are surely some players on the training pitch that are feeling like their place is deserved, but because these new players have come in, because of the hefty price tags, they're going to walk straight in, and that is just going to be the way it is. Or otherwise, there's going to be mass questions asked around at the moment. So I think João Felix is going to play in that false nine, as he has been. I think this is the game for him. This is big. This is a big game. I think we're going to see the best of him in this game. I wouldn't be surprised if he finds himself on the score sheet, because this is a game where I'm sure he's played Tottenham in the past. He knows about this game. You know, I think João Felix is very well cultured when it comes to English football, and I think he'll know how big this game is, and he'll be keen to win over these Chelsea fans even more so with a strong performance against Spurs. And then the two playing either side of him, I've gone with Raheem Sterling on the left. Now, Raheem Sterling also came on against Southampton and was electric. He lit it up. He, on his day, is fantastic. He's very frustrating. He does seem to waste chances. He should have scored when he came on against Southampton, but he creates so much. His intensity is unrivaled. And I think him and Mudryk are going to have to share the spoils until now, the end of the season. Mudryk, of course, is incredibly exciting, but I think he probably needs to be eased into Chelsea more so than Sterling, more so than some of the other signings. I think Mudryk needs to feel the love. He needs to understand what's going on a bit better, because there's been times where he has gone missing in the games. He has been playing with Cucurella behind him. It hasn't worked out. A game of this magnitude, I want to throw Raheem Sterling in it. If it's not working, then we're bringing on Mudryk and he's coming on. And that, for me, makes complete sense. And then on the right, it's, I guess, a case of Ziyech or Madueke. And I have gone for Noni Madueke, because I think this guy, his raw talent, he's so confident, he's so courageous taking on players. I don't think he's going to be fazed by this game. You know, he's an English boy. I think he knows what this game means. I think he'll be happy to feature in this game. And there's a lot of raw talent with him. And I think that it's good and bad at times, but for this game, considering some of the safer options I've put in this pitch, my wild card would be Madueke. I think he probably would really put his stamp on this game if he were to feature, if he were to start, but if not, it would be Hakim Ziyech. I'm sure Hakim Ziyech has turned things around since the World Cup, since Potter's put an arm around him. I have seen better performances from Ziyech, but just the end product for me is not there. And it seems to be the same case with Noni Madueke, but it's just that end product from the right has really been lacking. And I'm hoping whoever it is who starts is going to find some of their end product for this game, because it is essential that we beat Spurs on Sunday. Now, that's my prediction for the starting 11. Now, my prediction for the scoreline, honestly, it's 1-1. I think if Chelsea managed to score, that would be, incredible within itself. I think this is a very, very optimistic scoreline prediction from me, 1-1. I think it's hard to imagine that we are going to dig ourselves out of this situation and sort of be galvanised for this game, because I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen, ever since January, and all these transfers come in, Chelsea just seems to be further slumping down. And this, me predicting 1-1 is incredibly optimistic. If I had to put my money on it, it would be a scared bet. It would be a scared bet, because Tottenham are looking at Chelsea at the moment, despite not their greatest form, and they're going to think, this is our time to beat Chelsea. This is our time to put Chelsea to rest and put a nail in the coffin for Graham Potter. I'm pretty sure they would love to do that. I think Antonio Conte would absolutely relish that opportunity to sack a Chelsea manager with a convincing Tottenham win. I just pray it doesn't happen. Guys, let me know what you think the scoreline is going to be. Let me know what your predictions is. What do you think about mine? I hope we get the job done. It's going to be a tough game. It's tough being a Chelsea fan at the moment. Oh dear. I'll see you in the next one.